Welcome to the DIY Goalie podcast, where hosts and goalie coaches Nathan Park and Connor Monday share their insights on how to become a better goalie.
Goalies, how are we doing? Welcome back to the DIY Goalie podcast presented by True North Goaltending. It's just me in the captain chair today. Nathan Park is actually on assignment. I can actually say that with some legitimacy this time. He's currently in a meeting with a potential client for the upcoming year. So he's on assignment trying to work on bringing in some more clientele for us for the 2026-2027 season and beyond. So looking forward to see where that has gone. I'm jumping on here today. Like I said, it's going to be a little bit of a quick hit episode today, a little bit of a shorter one. Hopefully for the 2-year anniversary of this podcast, which will be episode 104, which is very, very exciting. Looking to hopefully have us both on, maybe a guest. Haven't really kind of figured all the details out on that yet. We would have thought that, you know, within us now being in the off season, that we kind of have our stuff together. We never do. Life of True North Goaltending and myself and Nathan, it never ceases. And we just keep trucking on. So Nathan on assignment. I'm sitting in the captain's chair. We're good to go. Some exciting news kind of on my side of things. Provincials has officially wrapped up. And so shout out to the KC Colts U18 AA hockey team, the team that I've been working with all year. They did end up winning bronze at the U18 provincials, U18 AA provincials this year. So I'm really, really happy about that. We've had a really good year, a lot of good ups and downs. And just didn't start off the tournament all that hot. Lost the first 3 games, lost the first game by a large margin, but then ended up coming back where it counts, essentially, and putting up the win in the 4th game, and then thankfully had the goal differential turn in our favor, so we were able to play in the bronze medal game. And then we didn't run away with that one, but we managed to come away with the win. And so the Colts are now back-to-back bronze medal champions in the provincials. Happy to have been part of that crew. Really good team, great staff, good goaltending. So I'm just thankful for the year this year. Hopefully able to come back. I'll be having a chat with Evan Carrillo, who I know listens to this podcast. So Evan, I know that you and I will be talking together here at some point throughout the summer. So looking forward to that conversation. Speaking of the Colts this year, it's kind of brought up a topic for me today, and it actually kind of goes hand in hand with our newsletter that we did send out today. So if you are not subscribed to the True North Goaltending newsletter, head over to truenorthgoaltending.com and subscribe to our newsletter. Nathan releases it every month. It has a lot of great stuff in there. Our monthly practice plan that is specified to goaltending. And then there's kind of a topic. It's similar to the podcast, in a sense where we have a topic that we talk about, and so we're going to rehash this topic today. And the topic that we have today is why practice goalies struggle in games. And I've seen it firsthand. A lot of goalie coaches seen it firsthand, where you have a goalie that either A looks really bad in practice, or B looks really good in practice but struggles in games. And so we come across this situation frequently, and a lot of goalies and goalie coaches out there has experienced it at some point in their career, where sometimes your practices, you're knocking it out of the park. Your tracking pucks, your positioning, your skating looks great, and then when it comes to the game, it all just falls by the wayside. A lot of it contributes to a controlled setting versus an uncontrolled setting, so like a practice versus game setting. um there is a bit of a differential, I guess, obviously, when it comes to that, because with goalie setting style practices, like I said, it's a controlled setting. You know where the shots are going. You know where the backdoor threats are. You know that you're going to have a rebound pop out because it's part of the drill. So it's part of that, situational awareness, I guess, in a sense, where um you know you're being told what's happening and what to expect next, versus an uncontrolled situation, or an unstructured situation, where a rebound could potentially pop out, or the puck maybe doesn't get placed in the spot that it should be. So this is so just in kind of recapping this article here, or this part of the article here. Whether you call it situational awareness, hockey IQ, reading the play, etc., the ability to process the game in front of him is what separates elite goalies from good ones. Situational awareness is one of those skills that isn't developed by definitive structure, such as push from A to B or for a shot. It stems from repeated exposure to patterns and the ability to recognize those patterns and translate them to an output. This is why training in an unstructured environment similar to a game can be beneficial for goalies of all ages. I like to take that maybe a little bit step further, because I sometimes will have you know that development where, like, hey, I'm going to be shooting blocker side, and sometimes the shot gets away from me, and sometimes the goalie gets scored on, and sometimes the goalie gets mad at me and they goes, I thought you were going to shoot on the blocker side, coach. And I go, yeah, obviously I messed up on the shot. That does not mean that we just give up, or that we just kind of get flustered because the shot didn't go where we were expecting it to go. We still have to play the puck, right? Sometimes I've had drills where I mess up on the initial shot and we still play out the rest of the drill, because the goalies have to be used to kind of sometimes situations not going the way that we wanted it to, but we still have to read and react accordingly. um, Chaotic development, as we've established and we've talked about it in previous podcasts as well, chaotic development is an important part of goalie growth. Essentially, sometimes, when we talk about chaotic development, again, like I said, like I have a little bit of uncontrolled, or controlled and uncontrolled chaotic development, in my practices. But sometimes having that extra little bit of randomness to development isn't necessarily a bad thing. That's why I do like those those battle drills, that coaches will do sometimes, where um it's just it's an in tight area and there's a lot happening going on. So for me, I really like it because it really gets the goaltender to think about what they're doing, think about what's happening, and try to read and react, as best as they can. Our article here talks about what exactly does chaotic development look like. We do have it in the practice plan that's with this article. So again, if you aren't subscribed to it, go subscribe to it. Introducing randomness to development is actually quite easy to do. It just involves a little bit of discipline from the coaching side of things. Most of the time the answer is to coach less and let the players play, which we know quite well. Again, like I said as well, sometimes I'll have a drill where maybe I'll mess up on the shot, or I will um I don't know, just maybe I'll shoot to a different area, or even then, sometimes afterwards, maybe maybe I forget the drill entirely sometimes, and so I go and do something different. Hockey is a strategic game, but it's also a randomized strategic game at the same time, where a lot of different things can happen. We as goaltenders just have to have that extra little bit of discipline, and be able to read the play and react accordingly. That you ever I mean We see, like, like those highlight reel saves of goaltenders, where they think the puck's going one way, it ends up going another, but the goaltender's still able to get over. How do you think they do that? Is just because they don't get caught in one area and be like, oh, well, puck's going the other way, I'm going to get scored on, whatever, it is what it is. No, it's more so just, like they're still battling to get across. That's why I like watching, like the In Goal magazine, we shout out those guys all the time, but the In Goal magazine, pro reads, because sometimes, where they give you that still, of a play that's developing, and we don't know what the outcome's going to be yet, even if we watch the game or not. But we don't know what the outcome's going to be, so we're making all these decisions, us as the reader, and trying to figure out what exactly is going to happen, where threat A, B, C, D, etc. is. Um and then by the time the play develops, sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong, right? So um going back to the whole thing, like I said, and I'm tying this back to, my Colts team for the year. um sometimes I had to figure out that, coaching is sometimes less is more, or sometimes more is less. um just depends on the situation, essentially. And have to figure out, okay, why are we doing this so well in practice, but why are we screwing it up in a game? So then sometimes, have to tweak the drill, and be like, okay, well, let's and introduce some randomized elements um to the drill. And so maybe I'll add in an extra shooter. So okay, well, now maybe you have two different options. I'm still kind of telling them what's going to happen in a sense, but they have to figure out, is it choice A, is it choice B, is it choice C, etc. There's no real, I guess, right or wrong answer to it in a sense. It's more so just, sometimes we just have to, we as goalies, we just have to figure it out, and it sounds so stupidly simple, because it is, and this we have, so we have to do, like I said, like I always talk about, proactive plays versus reactive plays, proactive saves versus reactive saves. We don't ever want to really get caught in a reactive save, which sounds, again, so counterintuitive, but if you guys will let me to define my definition. When I talk about, a proactive save, we're actively tracking the puck, we're actively in position, we're not doing anything that's going to, hinder our ability to, make our save. We're on top of the puck. Versus a reactive save, where we're late to making saves, we're late getting to position, so on, etc. Sometimes having those reactive saves is fine, but again, it's a pick and choose your battles sort of situation. We want to be in a more proactive um, save stance. Not really the word that I'm looking for, but we want to be more set into be ready for a proactive save than getting into a reactive save. More so 9 times out of 10. So even if, the shooter, who's supposed to shoot blocker side, ends up shooting glove side, we're still being proactive and tracking that puck into our glove, still shifting into position. Even if a rebound doesn't go the way that we wanted to, we're still watching it. We're still watching that puck come in, come out, and we're able to get to that next position. We're able to get proper rotation, get our feet set. We're beating passes, everything along those lines. Not always going to be the case. Sometimes we do end up getting caught in a reactive position. We're all human. Nobody's going to be perfect. But we'd want to, you know, be in that more proactive side of things versus reactive side. So I don't know if that really helps things a whole lot. I feel like I was just rambling. Like I said, it's a quick hit episode today. Um, we just, for goalie coaches, volunteer coaches, this one kind of goes out to you guys a little bit. Don't, like, again, it's funny. We talk about cookie cutter goaltenders. I hate that term, but we don't want cookie cutter drills. Sometimes we want to have those randomized drills. Sometimes we can introduce a little bit of screw ups in the drill, because at least it gets the goalie thinking, right? It gets the goalie reading the play, reading the shot release. Sometimes a pass doesn't go where it's supposed to, so sometimes the players recuperating on that pass, the goalie can make adjustments as they go, because they're not, sometimes the players won't always hit their spots. So we as goalies have to adjust and react accordingly. I would definitely like to know Nathan's side of things and kind of his thought process with this practice goalies article, but I'm gonna leave it there today. Um, there's just been a lot going on as well. Nathan has also been doing some stuff with the Alberta Cup, which is surprising. Which is it's not surprising. It's so yeah, it's surprising. No, it's just it's nice to see him part of that. And good luck to everybody if you are from the Alberta region who did get selected for Alberta Cup. Best of luck to you there. And as everybody else is heading into their off season, let us know kind of what your off season plans look like. Um, cannot stress anymore. Take some time away from the game. Take a month away. Take a few weeks away. Something. Get away from the ice a little bit. Just go off, go fishing, go play baseball, football, soccer, whatever that may look like. Um, go on a trip, go camping. Just do something that does not involve a hockey stick, a puck, or ice. Please. Um, take some time for yourselves. Reflect on the year. And by the time that as summer's progressing, summer's progressing, and head into the off season and such, then we can look at returning back to the ice and start getting back into game form. So then by the time the winter season gets back into it, you will all be good to go and you will be ready. um I did just want to kind of echo something as well that I heard a few days ago, just when it comes to just the reflection of the season. And I do want to take a few minutes on that. Because for me, it was a different year this year compared to last year's that I've had. I'm thankful for the teams that I've been on in the past, but there was something about being on this team this year that I was with that just hit different. Um, lot of camaraderie, a lot of good discussions between coaches and players, and coaches themselves, and just a really good team atmosphere. And I haven't been part of that in a while. At least it feels like. Um, I'm happy with the job that I did this year with my goalies, and I hope that my goalies are happy with their development and what they've been able to accomplish this year. There are definitely some things that could have been better at. Definitely some things that I wish I had done differently. But all in all, I'm personally happy with the year, and I have goals, and I have ideas on what I want to achieve. For next year's season, both on the goaltending development side of things that I do with True North, and the goalie coaching side of things that I do on the ice. Um, so goalies, goalie parents, goalie coaches, volunteer goalie coaches, even take a few minutes, at the end of the season this year, have a sit down with yourself, or have a sit down with mom and dad or whoever, and just take a minute to reflect on the year, the things that went well, the things that didn't go well, things that you want to be better at this year. Um, just sometimes, the hockey season, it never really truly ends because we don't really want it to end. And I think sometimes we all just need to take a couple minutes, and have a little bit of a postseason exit interview with ourselves, essentially, and just say, like, hey, we had we had a good year this year, or maybe we didn't have a good year this year, maybe we had an in between year this year. And just take a few minutes, you know reflect on the year, put that chapter to a close, take some time off, get ready for next year. That is definitely what I will be doing. Having some fun with the family this year. Unfortunately, still have to talk to Nathan almost every week. So, life of a goalie coach with True North Goaltending and ever. But so there we go. So there's our episode for today. As we enter into the off season, we at True North Goaltending will still have bookings available. So if you are in the Edmonton area, or if you are traveling up to the Edmonton area at any point, and if you want to come train with myself or Nathan or any other one of our lovely staff members that we do have, you guys can head over to truenorthgoaltending.com, hit the book online section there, and you are able to book a 1-to-1 session, 2-to-1 session, 3-to-1 session, all at various price points. So if you are interested in doing that, go check us out, truenorthgoaltending.com. When it comes to our on ice camps, I had to think of the word for a minute. Our week-long camp has been sold out, but we are now offering an additional 4-day camp the week after, so spots are still available there. So if you are interested, or if you ended up missing the first round of camps, you can go check us out, truenorthgoaltending.com, book your spot for the second round of camps. It's only a 4-day camp, but it is still a great opportunity to get back on the ice, work with some really highly dedicated coaches, including myself, and getting back into tip-top shape to be ready for the upcoming season. So if you are interested in working with us this summer, go check us out, truenorthgoaltending.com. As you also make your way over to the website, we do have a bunch of other fun things on the go there. I know Nathan is working on revamping the website again. We do have all of our content that used to be on the DIY Goalie website has been now moved over officially to True North Goaltending. So our podcast, all our blogs, our drills, our courses, our concentration grids, all of that is now located on truenorthgoaltending.com. If you hit the content button there, and you'll be able to choose what it is that you want in terms of the content that we love to put out. If you go check out our shop at truenorthgoaltending.com, you can purchase a bunch of different merchandise that we do have there. It's been a while since I've been on the shop store. What do we have here? We have a pullover hoodie that says "School is important, but goaltending is importanter," I think is what the actual image says as I pull it up. Yeah, school is important, but stopping pucks is importanter, which is a great quote. Another one here that says, I don't talk to myself, my posts are listening. What else do we have here? We have a whole bunch of different stuff like crew neck sweaters, pullover hoodies, bunch of men's and women's gear, all with a bunch of funny little uh, images on it. This one says, "Don't make me use my goalie mom voice," which is a funny one. This one also says here, "I help save for the future," which we all know as goalie parents. That stuff is expensive. On top of that, as well, if you are listening over on the podcast side of things, which is, whether it be Apple, iHeart, Spotify, whatever that may look like, if you are a returning listener, thank you. Make sure you hit the share button. If you are a new listener to our little program, hit the follow button. We release new episodes every Wednesday. So make sure you guys hit the follow button for a new video or a new episode, audio thing, whatever. If you are watching over on the YouTube side of things, again, same deal. We release new video platform episodes every Wednesday. So go check us out, truenorthgoaltending.com. Speaking of social media, you guys can go check us out on all your favorite social media platforms, whether that is Facebook, not Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all of that is True North Goaltending, except on Instagram, because we like to be different. That one is YEG Goalie Coach. That'll do it. On behalf of myself and Nathan Park, this has been the DIY Goalie Podcast presented by True North Goaltending. Make some saves, goalies. Have a great summer. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.